A lot of pressure up here. A lot of pressure. Appreciate y'all coming. This is an initiative that Mr. Bendy asked the culinary team to do. So I appreciate all taking time from your day to be here. And I mean, after all, I'm your excuse to getting out of work, right? I mean, so before I get, just wanted to recognize the best hair in the room. Stand up, James. Stand up. How about that? I mean, is that the best hair or what? So, all right, there you go. Thank God Benny's not here for that. But anyway, so why are we doing this? The reason why we're doing this is everything's really expensive right now, right? Gas finally just came down, but the price of food is very expensive. Beef and chicken and everything you go to the supermarket, everything costs more. So Mr. Benny thought it would be a good idea to do a presentation that would help you all with meal planning, family meal planning at home, and making the dollar stretch a little longer. So my job today is, at least I took the initiative today, not to teach you how to cook. That's not what I want to do today. What I want to try to do is inspire you all on how to meal plan, inspire you on how can I go to the store and buy something. And by the way, Brendan's going to join me up here in a little bit as well, and he's going to help you with the supermarket ideas and concepts. But how to go to the store, shop once, and maybe last for a week and save some money. So does that sound pretty good? Say yes. Say yes. All right, so here we go. Jay, if you could put the slide deck up for me. Also, thank Jay for coming in. Give him a round of applause for helping us out. He'll do anything for a free meal. But anyway, so here we go. The first, what we're going to talk about. I want you to focus on the concept that I'm trying to share with you. Well, I want to share with you that you can buy possibly one protein at the market and have it have you be able to use that for several meals. Okay, so that's the concept. So there's 3 different proteins here I want to talk about, and these are just the examples. Now again, I'm not here to teach you how to cook. I want to inspire you on taking these concepts and putting them towards any type of protein you want to buy. So see if you can follow me now. So the first one is a pork butt. We're going to talk, I'm going to show you some recipes. Oh, by the way, Vanessa, if you can pass those recipes out, and if someone wants to help Vanessa do that, it'd be great. Also, a round of applause for Vanessa and for putting that, helping me put that together. Fidel. Okay, so pork butt. So in that recipe packet, and you don't have to look at it necessarily right now, but in that recipe packet, there's 4 different recipes that you can make from pork butt. So the idea is you're gonna, like on a Sunday, if you're off on Sunday, or if you're off on Monday, you can roast the pork butt, that item, and then you can have possibly 4 or 5 other meals from that same protein, right? So from the pork butt, we have the flautas, we have a salad and pork tacos, and also a soup that you can make from that recipe, right? The next one, we have a whole roasted chicken, which we're going to show you that today. Whole roasted chicken we have here, and then from that whole roasted chicken, you can have the whole roasted chicken on your Sunday, your night off, or on Monday, your night off, and from that, you can make other recipes throughout the week. So you're going to save time and you can save money. Okay. So from the whole roasted chicken, underneath there's 3 different recipes. There's a chicken salad with a poached egg and avocado. There's a penny pasta recipe. By the way, how many people had lunch today in the cafeteria? So the pasta that you enjoyed at lunchtime is the actual recipe that's in your packet. Okay. So if you like that recipe is in your packet, and so those are recipes, and the chicken salad are recipes that you can use with the leftover chicken from your Sunday night off or your Monday night off. Okay? So now the same thing with the flank steak. You have the flank steak on your day off, and then you have different recipes that you can enjoy throughout the week. Also, what I want to mention is, and here's just another picture. Okay, you get your pork, your pulled pork on the first picture there, and then you get the 4 different dishes on the side, and the chicken and the 3 different dishes, and the flank steak and the 3 different dishes. It's also, let's say you do the pork butt. You don't have to eat pork, the shredded pork all week. You can take and you can put those into plastic baggies and you can freeze those, right? You can have 1 portion or 2 portions at a time, and you can freeze those and you can pull them out anytime you'd like. Also breakfast ideas. I'll share with you a little secret about me. Anytime that I'm cooking at home, I always save a small dish for breakfast the next day, especially on the days that I'm off. So whatever we're having for dinner, I'll save for sure a potato, if there is one, and a little bit of whatever that we had for dinner that night. And I'll put it in a little glass bowl, and the next day, I will, and some of these pictures are from my phone, from my breakfasts, that you can saute those potatoes, saute some of that cod that you had, or saute some of that pork that you had, or saute some of that chicken you had. It's just like having eggs and sausage, right? So you can saute that up in a pan, you can crack an egg in there, and that's your breakfast. So to me, almost anything tastes good with an egg on it. Also, the same thing goes with salads, right? So any protein that you have left over from a dinner, you can save, and you can make a salad, and you can put the shredded pork on top. You can put the poached egg on top. You can, by the way, if you have nothing at home and you have some salad greens, you can put a poached egg on top. I know the chefs all know that we've served some of those salads here at the club. The poached egg on top actually serves as a dressing. So you kind of slice open the egg, and the egg yolk goes in, and it kind of serves as a dressing as well. So again, eggs are a great item to use on top of leftovers, and it works very well. So here I want to, and we're going to try to get you out within the hour, okay, because we want to get you all back to work and serving our members. So here's an idea on the pricing breakdown. Pork butt. So the pork butts cost, they're around 9 pounds. They cost $22 and these are HEB prices. It costs about $22 if you want to buy a whole pork butt, and that comes out to about $1.39 per portion. And you can get 16 servings out of a pork butt. So imagine you went to HEB, you bought a pork butt, you follow the recipe that's in your packet there, you're going to get roughly 16 servings out of that pork butt, and it's going to cost you $1.39. So that's a pretty good deal, right? So again, we're not going to teach you how to cook today, but we just want to inspire you on ways to be able to set yourself up throughout the week. My daughter is a school teacher, and she brings her lunch throughout the week. So she can't just she leaves the house around 5:45 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and she gets back at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. She doesn't have time to start from scratch. What am I going to do? So she meal plans the entire week, and she has to have that food in-house ready to go. So as soon as she gets home, she rinses out the to-go containers, and then she makes her lunch for the next day. But she writes all that ahead of time. Well, she's a school teacher, right? So she's really good at notes. So that's a pretty good deal, $1.39 per portion. If you go down to the chicken, you get roughly 4 servings out of a whole chicken, which is the chicken that we have here. And a few of you lucky folks that were here early, the package pass that you have there, you're going to get a to-go chicken. So we have a chicken and a lemon and a garlic bulb in there, and then a few other things. So those of you that were here earlier will get that to-go package. So the whole chicken, you get roughly 4 servings out of a chicken. That's going to cost you $1.61 per portion. So if it's 2 of you at home, you can take the jewel of the chicken, and Matt's going to come up here in a little while, and he's going to show you how to do this. But you can take the breasts off, and you can serve the breast for dinner, and you can use the legs for the other recipes that we showed you in the packet. The next is a flank steak. Flank steak is roughly 5 servings per, and you're going to come out to about $2.47 per serving. Everybody kind of following what I'm saying here? Any questions so far? Perfect. All right. So I'm not going to go through all these, but here's your pork butt recipe, your flautos. And by the way, we're doing a tasting right after the demo. So in another 20 minutes or 30 minutes, we're going to have a tasting for you. You're going to be able to taste the pork flautos. So you had the chicken pasta for lunch. You're going to see the roasted chicken here as the demo, and you're going to try the pork flautos later. Here's your pork salad recipe, the soup recipe. We're going to show you a little bit about how to start a stock. Okay, stocks are very easy, but one of the things that I do at home is if we make stocks, we'll reduce them down and we'll cool them off and we'll put them in ice cube trays and we'll freeze them. And then whenever you want a little bit of stock and you're sauteing some pasta and you want some chicken stock in there, you just take 1 cube and you put it in the saute pan and you saute. I do the same thing with veal sauces or brown sauces or chicken veloutés or whatever. If you have those kind of things at home, and you can just take ice cube trays and you can pop them out when you want to use them. There's the soup and then the roast chicken. This is the recipe that we're going to, Matt, why don't you come on up here and we'll get started. This is the recipe that we're going to talk you through today. A whole roasted chicken, and then the chicken salad with the poached egg and avocado, the penne pasta, and the crispy chicken salad. So, I mean, when all else fails, come on over here, Matty. Matt's our PM banquet chef, if you didn't know, so he's in charge of all the PM banquets. I think you all know by now, when you want something to eat, you open up the cooler and there's some salad greens on there. It's kind of like, what's left in the cooler to put on top of it, right? So you put some roasted pecans on there, you can put the poached egg on there, whatever you had left over from the dinner last night, you can put on top of there. And then the same thing with the marinated flank steaks, okay? If you choose to do the flank steak recipes, make sure you shave those paper thin and on the bias, because they can tend to be a little bit on the tough side. So, and there's the quesadillas. So we're going to, Matt, why don't you go ahead and take away and demo the chicken recipe, please.
Thank you very much. Just as Chef said, my name is Matthew Weber. I'm the PM banquet chef here at River Oaks. I actually had the opportunity to work with Chef from 2006 to 2011. And, he decided to welcome me back because he was in need of a position. He asked me to come up here and speak with all of you on this demo of the chicken, and I said, well, I will need to be compensated for this. And he said, what did you have in mind? I'm like, well, usually with my publicist, we have to work something out. Chef's like, I can pay in produce. Everything was going good, but I found that the celery was unacceptable, so thank you. Moving right along.
He's here all night, by the way.
I'm here all night.
Yeah.
Moving right along, what we're going to demo today is a basic 3.5, 4-pound chicken. And recipe is called roasted chicken with lemon and garlic. First thing we always want to do whenever we're touching any of this stuff is want to make sure we're using Sandy's Surf Safe. If you use a wooden cutting board, bacteria can get inside. If you don't wash it properly or even put it in your dishwasher, it gets split and cracked, bacteria can get in that as well. So as we're starting this, we're actually going to preheat our oven first to 425 degrees. So as we're working through all this mise en place, we already have a nice hot oven where this chicken is going to go in and actually going to start browning and crisping. Okay? So to do that, we're actually going to blot it with a paper towel. And I have some extra paper towels on top here too, just to make sure all the excess liquid that came in with the pan is taken off. What this does as well too is it creates a non-skid surface on the cutting board. So with this right here, I'm just going to fold these arms back, and I'm going to make a quick 2-inch incision from the thigh in between the breast. Not want to cut all the way through, but what this is going to allow us to do is see some exposure. As it cooks, we can see if it's still rosy pink or if it's cooked all the way through with the juices. So from here, I'm actually going to season this graciously from the back side first, because we don't want to distribute it all over the presentation side and then actually flip it back over. So I'm going to graciously make sure every little kind of corner and crevice is seasoned lightly, not too heavy. We don't want it to be too salty. Make sure the skin's coated and everything. Okay. So from here, chicken seasoned. We're actually going to use this in a cast iron pan. You're more than welcome to use a cookie tray. I would just recommend using something with a lip on it because as this chicken cooks, it's actually going to release juices and oils. You do not want to start a fire in your oven. So from there, we're actually going to have our lemons that we cut in half and de-seeded. We're going to set inside as well too because this is going to help bake the chicken when we're done. We also had a whole head of garlic that is in your package too that we're going to add to it as well. So from here, we've already seasoned. We have our pan ready, our oven set. And then we're going to add, you can add melted butter if you want, but if you have a dairy allergy, extra virgin olive oil or any blended oil will work. We're just going to graciously just kind of cover and macerate this very nicely. You only use about 2 ounces. Okay. Then, as this goes in the oven, where's my oven? Oh, it's right here. It's a Fisher-Price Susie Home Baker oven. And then as it comes out, the magic of television. So as we have here, we can see some indications to know that this is cooked. One that I'm seeing right now is the lemons are golden brown. You know, I call it GBD. The top of the skin is cooked too. We have the nice split right here, and the juices have been running thin. I actually temp this with a thermometer, just not to embarrass myself. The leg and thigh meat usually temps about 185 or above, and then the breast meat, right near where the bone is about 165. After we cook this, we want to always make sure that we're letting this rest for about 15 minutes. This will allow all the juices to actually redistribute back into the chicken to make it nice and moist. You never really want to slice anything right out of the oven. All those juices will just distribute all over your cutting board. So, what I'm going to do with this now is butcher it for you. And as we do this, you could just pull, but as we do this, I'm just going to follow this line, left-handed, sorry. Open up the breast, and I'm just going to follow along this bone line here. There is a wishbone in the center, you just snap right through. You could remove it earlier if you wanted to, and then I'm just going to take this and cut this right through, knowing that if you see the tenderloin and right where the wing bone attachment is, it's actually cooked all the way through, nice and juicy. So we'll set that presentation there. And this will take some experience, just breaking down chickens in general. So, you know, this recipe, as you do this and it doesn't come out perfect, just make sure you just keep at it, try it again until you get the habit formed, and it should come out great. Now, with the leg and thigh meat, think about these as just like our own groin muscles right here. They actually, once it's cooked all the way through, it snaps and opens right up, and you can literally just pull it off. Same thing with the other side. And as Chef was saying with the jewel, that's the oyster muscle right back here. That's one of the most tender, softest parts because it is part of the dark meat. So, now that we have our thigh and our leg, there is a slight line right here that connects them. And if you cut this through with your knife, it should come through nice and smooth. Anytime you have to force your knife, don't, because you'll end up just probably slipping and cutting yourself, which is why it's imperative to make sure you're working with a dry knife handle and kind of a dry cutting board as well too. So, now that we're already here and we already have our chicken broke down, we have our carcass. Now what do we do with this? Anybody paying attention earlier? Excellent. So to do this, we just take a pot. We have our carcass. If it doesn't fit in, you can always break this down. You can actually take the wings off too if you'd like. Eat them as a little snack. And then we're just going to add some basic onions, carrots, and celery. We're going to fill this with water, and then we're going to bring it up to a boil, turn down to a simmer, and it's best to simmer for about 45 minutes minimum. And this is the fun part where you can actually taste it with a tasting spoon and see exactly how flavorful it is. So here is our basic stock. Okay. Once that's done, like Chef said, we put it in an ice cube tray, we freeze it, and then you always have little enhancement sauces for anything you're cooking. Next thing I want to showcase right here too as well. Flip this over. Is what do we do with all these leftovers? All this oil and everything that's left over, we can actually use this just to baste all the chicken with. You can actually save the garlic too that's been beautifully roasted. You can add this to your mashed potatoes. So now you kind of have a lemon chicken and roasted garlic potato kind of concept. And you can always add it as well for breakfast the next day. It would make a great omelet. So, any questions?
To that, if my wife and I are home having dinner, we would probably use, this is a little bit of a smaller bird, so we would use the jewel, right? Whatever your favorite part is, you should have that the first night, right? Have that the first time. So in our case, we'd have the breast for dinner tonight, and we'll save the legs for the salad or a taco or whatever you want the next day. Really good point on the pan juices. That's the best part of of cooking is the flavor that's left in the pan. Also, if you didn't know, lemons, those lemons are like the sweetest lemonade you've ever had. Anytime you roast a lemon, or if you're grilling outside, you can take a lemon, cut it in half, and put it on top your charbroiler or your grill or in a saute pan, and it caramelizes. Once you do that, that lemon has an entirely different flavor altogether. It's sweeter than lemonade. It's unbelievable what happens. So if you're doing some fish at home, take a lemon, cut it in half, put it, and you caramelize it in a saute pan, and you can squeeze that lemon on top of the fish. It's unbelievable. So Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So Brendan, if you want to come up. So Brendan's going to share with you how to eat healthy. It's so boring. I mean, I don't know. No, he's going to share with you how to shop and maybe a little fitness too. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. And Jay, if you have a slide, you have that last slide, Jay? Or I can do it, I guess. You got it.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you, Chef Carol. Thank you, Chef Matt, for letting me share the stage today. This is awesome. I mean, isn't it awesome? Privileged to be up here and to be able to kind of contribute to this. So, I'm the fitness director at River Oaks Country Club. Been here for 13 years, working on 14. And we've got a great team of fitness professionals that are here providing a large host of services for members every day. So one of the services that we provide is we have a registered dietitian as part of our team. And she's here to provide nutrition counseling as well as dietary education for our membership. So her name is Brittany Link. So Brittany and I got together. I'm not a dietitian, but Brittany and I got together and we talked about this a lot. And so I have some tips to share from you from our dietitian, and as well as give you some of my personal practices for healthy eating and eating on low budget as well. So it's if my wife were here, she would tell you. Usually when the weekend comes around, we'll have a conversation. We'll say, "What are we going to do this weekend?" And often one of the first things I want to say is, "Well, we got to go to the grocery store," and she hates that. But it's a secret that one of my favorite things to do is go to the grocery store. I like getting ahead of things. I like going and doing the grocery shopping. So this is a topic that I enjoy. So the first thing when you're going to the grocery store, definitely make sure that you have a list. So 40% of food in the U.S. goes to waste every year. So when you have a list, it keeps you on track and make sure that you're not buying things that you might not need, that you might not eat. You're planning ahead. Chef talked about the meal planning process, about thinking forward through the week. So when you have that list, it keeps you on track. For me, going to the store with kids, that's always gets me. Walking through the grocery store and we'll be picking out the fruit and we'll have the fruit all picked out for the week, and the kids will say, "Well, I want some bananas," and it's always the bananas in my house. But the bananas, we never get to them. They always go bad. So having that list, sticking to your list will help you avoid that food waste and help cut down on your cost. Look for items on sale. So example for me this week, went to the grocery store, and so as you look for items on sale, you do have to be a little bit flexible. So you got your list, right? But as you're shopping, take the treasure hunt of the grocery store, look around, and when you see things that are good prices, that you can save, that you can use later, that's when you stock up. So especially your meats, your freezer is your best friend. So, you see ground beef on sale, you see the chickens on sale, your freezer is your best friend. Grab those at lower prices, put them in your freezer, you can take them out, they're good whenever you want them, all right? So look for those items on sale. This past weekend, I was in the grocery store. One of my favorite products that I use, I probably consume too much salt, but the type of salt, they use a type of salt called real salt. It's made in Redmond. It's made by a company called Redmond. It's made in Redmond, Utah. It's the only salt mine in the U.S. And so they mine it. It's like actual rocks crushed up, as opposed to using the chemical product that's made in the store. So the Redmond salt, HEB, was on sale this weekend for $3.88. It's not the cheapest product, but $3.88. Normally it's $5. I bought the whole lot. It's going to be good forever, and so I'm all stocked up. I got salt for the next 5 years. So take advantage of those sales when you see them. The other thing too that's interesting about the grocery store, and I think this is personally kind of fascinating, but to me the grocery store is like a human behavior project. So there's so much science that goes into placement and product placement and what happens in the grocery store. So, for example, when you walk in, the human behavior is that everybody immediately looks to the left. As you walk into the grocery store, everybody immediately looks to the left. So some of the most expensive products, as soon as you walk in the store, are going to be right there on your left. So like at our Kroger, there's a little freezer right there when you walk to your left. It's a lot of the prepackaged stuff and whatnot. Some of the most expensive things are HEB. There's a little nook where they have seasonal items that you don't traditionally get at a grocery store. So anyway, kind of understanding the flow of the grocery store, I think is really interesting. With that, the look high and low on your shelves too. So the eye level of the eye level products on the grocery store, that's the big dollar stuff, right? So if you look high, you look low, you'll see different products that different options. So for example, in the milk, there's one shelf in the milk area on the bottom. It's about $1 cheaper than everything else that's in the middle, right? So look high and low. Look for those sales. Look for those cheaper prices as well. Buy products that are in season as well. So we'll skip down here. Buy fruits and vegetables that are in season. So this summer, just coming out of summer, we got your berries that are in season, you got your watermelons, things like that. So especially with the fruits and vegetables, buy those products that are in season. They're going to be a lot cheaper. When we also talk about fruits and vegetables, the frozen products, as we talked about, when you find some stuff on sale and freezing them, the frozen products are great as well. So the frozen vegetables, they're often can have a higher nutrient content than your fresh stuff, because with your fresh stuff, often you don't know how long it's been sitting in the grocery store, right? So the frozen stuff gets immediately frozen typically, and so you have a lot of the nutrient content that's packed in there. So in my house, we definitely use the plate method. The plate method for eating is that half of your plate should be vegetables, and so we go through a lot of vegetables in our house. Brussels sprouts is one of my favorites, one of our favorites. We probably have Brussels sprouts 4 or 5 nights a week. So we use the frozen Brussels sprouts, put the frozen Brussels sprouts straight out of the freezer into the air fryer. We use the Instapot, it has an air fryer as well, so that's probably used almost every night in our house, every day. So put the frozen Brussels sprouts in the air fryer, put it for 12 minutes, and you've got restaurant style Brussels sprouts, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. Put a little olive oil on top, some of that real salt and pepper on top, and it's great. So those frozen vegetables are really good options for you as you're looking for fruits and vegetables. Buy in bulk. So this is a concept that Chef is speaking about a lot here too. So buy in bulk. So we're talking about get the whole chicken, use it a couple of times, get the whole pork, use it a couple of times. So it's a really great way to buy things in large quantities. And again, the freezer is your best friend. Two chickens are on sale. You can buy them in the group sometimes. Buy those, freeze what you don't use, and you save a lot of money there. And then let's go to the last one Did I cover these? Oh, and the prepackaged stuff. So stay away from the prepackaged stuff. Put in the labor. So all the stuff that's pre-diced for you from the fruits and vegetables standpoint, you're going to pay a lot more. You're paying for the labor of preparing those products. If you get pre-marinated things, you're paying for the labor of all that stuff. So, buy the whole chicken, get do the work yourself. Lettuce is a great example. $1.50 for a head of iceberg lettuce, $1 for a bag of croutons, and you can eat that for 3 days versus one of the prepackaged salads, which will cost $4 for one of those, and it lasts for a night. And then the last one, stock up on cheaper proteins. So we're talking about our meats here a lot. So some cheaper proteins, my favorites are eggs, beans, and yogurt. So those are 3 things that are big staples in my household. From eggs are the most bioavailable food that you can eat. So which means that when we consume food, we're not able to use all of it. We have waste that comes out of when we eat. So eggs, you use more of the egg. Your body uses more of the nutrients of the egg than almost any other food, or than any other food. And it makes sense, right? Kind of the consistency of that and what it is. And so it's a high protein food. So you can, when some of the meats are a little bit more expensive, eggs for dinner, breakfast for dinner. When we saw some of Chef Carroll's pictures of his breakfast, who wouldn't eat that for dinner? So eggs, in our household, we go through about 4 to 5 dozen eggs a week. We have a family of 5, so we go through quite a bit. Beans are great too, so very inexpensive. So a package of dry beans is $1.29 in the grocery store for a package of pinto beans. So we do beans quite a bit as well. A little tip I'll tell you about beans. Bean preparation. This is one of my trade secrets of cooking. You guys feel free to borrow this if you need it. So if you look at the package, it'll tell you that you should soak the beans overnight, do an overnight soak, or do the quick boil. Doing that, it's a good way to lose some friends at work. We've all heard the song, the magical fruit, right? So for beans, I do a 48-hour soak. So the beans have a protein in them called lectin, and lectin is the bean's defense mechanism against animals that are going to go and eat the bean. So the soak breaks down the lectin to make them more digestible, so you don't have the historical stigma of beans, right? So 48-hour soak, and then cooking them on high heat as well. And then yogurt. So we go through a ton of yogurt in my house. We make our own yogurt or culture it. So with yogurt, and that's a very inexpensive, easy thing to do. So with yogurt, you just need a starter. So we'll get a little thing of yogurt, and then you can get a gallon of milk. And again, we use the Instapot for this. You set the temperature on 110 and put the starter in there and mix it up with some milk. Gallon of milk is $2.50, and about 10 hours is what we put it in there for. And you've got a gallon of really healthy yogurt. The good thing about yogurt is yogurt has a lot of bacteria in it, and the bacteria is good for your gut health, right? So our gut, we have all these good healthy bacteria in our stomach, and that helps us digest food. It helps boost your immune system, a lot of different things. And so yogurt is a real good way to keep your good gut health, and also has that protein mix. So that's a cheap way, as opposed to buying a 32-ounce thing of yogurt, which is going to run about $4. You can make a gallon of yogurt for yourself for about $2.50 and save some money there. So, and the yogurt that I like to use as my starter is it's Phage, or it looks like Phage. F-A-G-E. I don't really know how you pronounce the name, but and I like that one because the different types of bacteria that it has in it. One of the bacteria that has in it is Lactobacillus acidophilus, and that is one of the most prominent healthy bacteria in your gut that help you digest foods and whatnot. So you can buy that good healthy yogurt and then grow it and make more for yourself. Any questions on any of those things? No? All right. Well, thanks for letting me share the stage here. Pass it back to Jeff.
Thanks, Brendan. And there must be some questions out there, right? No questions at all? Brendan, he's got a question on your yogurt. Instapot. Thought we do drug testing here, no? You want to know what an Instapot is?
Yes, sir.
HR is in the audience, by the way.
Instapot. Yeah. So it's like it's a crock pot, it's an air fryer, and it's like your pressure cooker, like all in one. So yeah. So it's like your utility tool for all those things.
Any other question? Yes. Buy a really big tub of
beans and yogurt.
No, yeah, bean curd. No, so I got to think about that. Do I bulk vegan? Let me think about that. No, but he was just saying beans. Yeah.
My daughter was vegan for 2 weeks this summer, so I know a lot about it.
All right, so but there's one other thing that I wanted to mention that, you know, at HEB they have, or Costco, they have the chickens that are already roasted, right? I mean, this recipe is 4 ingredients, right? So how easy can you get? So y'all can do that at home. You have some of you have some chickens to go today, but you can buy the whole chicken for like $5 or $5.50. It's really so stupid cheap, and then you can make a whole meal out of it. So this is what we're going to do. The recipe packets are for you to take home. We have a tasting over here. The flautas, the guys have it all ready for you to help yourself to a tasting. Also, those of you that have a package pass, you can help yourself. We're going to hand out the gifts for you today as well. So don't rush both sides, but enjoy and thank you for coming.